Hurry Up.
Welcome into the Nesson Digital Studios. I'm Courtney Cox, and thanks for joining us for this week's episode of the Hurry Up. We've got week 6 of the NFL right ahead of us, so let's jump right into it. First and foremost, we've got Nick Goss in studio to talk about some storylines. The first one we've got to get to, Adrian Peterson leaving New Orleans, getting traded. He's headed to Arizona. This storyline's a pretty big one.
It is. Arizona really needed an upgraded running back. Chris Johnson and all the other guys they used after David Johnson's injury just weren't getting it done. Arizona ranks last in the NFL, 2.6 yards per carry. That's not going to get it done. They're only one game behind the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams in the NFC West Division. The playoffs are still a realistic target. They had to do something, so I love this trade for the Cardinals. All
right, now let's look at the Houston Texans. A big bummer. I mean, that's the biggest word that you can say for this. J.J. Watt going down with a very serious injury, one that we think will keep him out for this season. That's what reports are. He had a really sad tweet about, not sugarcoating this, that he is distraught kind of about being sidelined for this season.
Yeah, it's really a bummer. He missed a lot of games last year with an injury, and not only is he out, Whitney Merciless, their other great pass rusher, likely to miss the rest of the season too. That means Jadeveon Clowney is going to face a lot more double teams, making it much harder for that defense to get to the quarterback. Even with those guys, they've given up 29 or more points in 3 of their 5 games, and without them, Deshaun Watson, their rookie quarterback, is going to be under a lot more pressure. And even though he's played really well to start his career, putting more pressure on a rookie quarterback certainly is far from ideal.
I think Deshaun will do just fine, but from one rookie quarterback to another, we saw one get a start on Monday night, Mitchell Trubisky coming out with the start for the Bears. But before we talk about him, I want to go back to the draft because he and I had a little bit of an encounter on the red carpet.
No one's going to ask you to kiss me. You're good. Thank you.
It's going to be on TV, thanks.
No, we're good.
She got it on her phone.
Are we good?
It's going to go viral. It's going to go viral. It's going to go viral.
It looks fine.
That's a
Good.
So yeah, there you have it. Mitchell Trubisky using my chapstick on the red carpet. A little fun fact for all of you. I mean, maybe I contributed to him, getting a start in his rookie season. They did lose to the Vikings, but what do you see out of Mitchell Trubisky, and do you think that he's a good fit here?
Well, he doesn't have any good receivers to throw to, so that's certainly an impediment for him. But I thought he was okay. He's better than Mike Glennon. Again, that's not a very high bar to climb, but he wasn't too accurate, just completed only 12 of 25 passes. His interception at the end of the game really sealed Minnesota's victory. But he does have a great athleticism. He moves really well. He does have a cannon for an arm. So I think the Bears finally have some hope at the quarterback position, which is something they haven't had for really a lot of their recent history, the last 25, 30 years. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but there's still a lot more improvement that needs to be made.
All right, well, great stuff as always from Nick. You can follow along with him on Twitter at Nick Goss Nesson. But now let's send it to our friends. Let's continue this show, Week 6.
All right, guys, we saw an improvement from the Patriots defense on Thursday night against the Buccaneers, namely because Stephon Gilmore's primary role was covering Mike Evans. And the Jets, though, don't have that top receiver. So, Doug, what would you like to see from Gilmore out of this game on Sunday?
After the Patriots' Week 4 loss, they really said that they couldn't simplify the defense any more than they already had. They kind of simplified it even more in Week 5 by having Gilmore just follow Mike Evans across the field and really rely on the rest of their defensive backs to get into the more complexities of the bunch formations and everything. I would like to see Gilmore a little bit more involved in those bunch formations, in the communication, just to prove that he can do it moving forward, because at some point this season, the Patriots will need to be communicating with Stephon Gilmore pre-snap, post-snap. They need to be on the same page, so I would like to see them start getting on the same page once again against the Jets, because the Patriots should be able to beat the Jets, even with possibly some communication issues out there. So I just want to see Stephon Gilmore be on the same page as the rest of his defenders this week.
And 2 of the Jets' top running backs could be out this week, so definitely a good chance for them to show some improvement in the run defense. Zach, what would you like to see from in that area?
It should be, yeah. I mean, the Patriots' run defense, I don't think it's been as glaring of a weakness as the pass defense was early in the season, but it really hasn't been that good all season. Their linebackers haven't played particularly well. Even guys like Alan Branch in the trenches, who are usually really good run defenders, have not played nearly as well as they have in the past. But like you said, the Jets this weekend could be down Bilal Powell and Matt Forte. That means they would start Elijah McGuire, who's an undrafted rookie at running back. McGuire has shown some flashes this year. He averaged, I think, 7.1 yards a carry in the big win against the Jaguars a couple weeks ago. But yeah, when you look at it on paper, this really should be a week where the Patriots' run defense can kind of assert itself a little bit more than it has in weeks past.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, now here with Mike Cole, and it is time to talk lock and upset. Week 6 ahead of us. I feel bad for you because you kind of have the hardest job in the hurry up because this season has just been not what we expected going into it.
Yeah, my record reflects that. I've actually had a pretty good year on the spread, our NFL Picks podcast, but here not so much. The hurry up's been an issue for me, but we're going to try to figure that out this week and get back on the right track.
Last week of you being single, he will be a married man on Saturday, so maybe that will switch things around.
Yeah, sorry, ladies.
Luck will be, sorry, ladies. But let's start with your lock for week 6.
For my lock, a lot of big spreads this week. I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons. They're 11-point favorites against the Miami Dolphins. Really, this has a lot to do with the fact that the Dolphins suck. Like, that's really where we're going to start with this. The Dolphins are just not good. Their offense is terrible. They're worse in the NFL in yards per play. They have the worst yards per play differential in the NFL as well. I like the fact that Atlanta's coming off a bye. They're getting healthy. Ryan Strader, the right tackle, back after a concussion. Julio Jones looks like he's being okay with that nagging hip injury. That week did them well. And since 2010, they're 6-1 after the bye, winning those games by an average of 13 points. So that puts me right around 11 points, which is the spread here. It just seems like a good spot for the Falcons to kind of get right after that loss 2 weeks ago against Buffalo.
All right, well, with every lock, we have an upset. So for week 6, who you got upsetting?
This was a tough one. Not a lot of options again, but I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals. They're home underdogs against Tampa Bay, 2-point home underdogs. I look at Tampa Bay, and I'm still not sold on them. I mean, Jameis Winston was just far too killer with the ball for my liking. I think that they looked a little bit better than they are on Thursday night because they got a banged-up Patriots team coming to town. This week they have to go travel across the country, go take on that Cardinals team. The Cardinals' pass protection, not great. The offensive line, pretty leaky. But the Bucks don't get after the quarterback. They just don't. And they got after Tom Brady a little bit last week, but I think that had more to do with the situation than anything else. So I think if you give Carson Palmer a little bit more time to operate, he's going to take advantage of that. The Bucks also 6.7 yards, I think it is 26 in the league in yards per attempt against them. They give up some plays. They give up some chunk plays here and there. And that's against Case Keenum, Eli Manning, Mike Glennon, and then Brady in a banged-up Patriots offense. So I think that the Cardinals are going to have some chances to score some points here. I think they find a way to eke it out. And if this is a close game, I don't trust the Bucs at kicking field goals either. I mean, Nick Folk, we saw that. So a lot to point towards the Cards there.
All right, so Arizona fans will be happy with Mike this week.
If not,
but again, congratulations.
Thanks.
Big weekend ahead for
Appreciate
you. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about it next week on the Hurry Up because I love weddings and you hate talking about them.
Exactly.
All right, well, you can follow along on Twitter with Mike at Mike Cole Nesson. But now let's move on with the show.
All right, thanks a lot, Courtney. I'm here with Nick Goss. Now I'm Andre Cacciatore. Nick, Ben Roethlisberger has been a great quarterback for many, many years. 2 Super Bowls, many accolades. But look at him last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 5 picks, no touchdowns, disastrous performance. After the game, he comes out and he says, maybe I don't have it anymore. What did you think of those comments, and what did you think of his game? Is Big Ben done?
He's definitely not the elite quarterback he once was. Those comments would frighten me if I'm a Steelers fan. There were already reports he's contemplating retirement after last year's AFC Championship debacle. So to hear him say that after this horrible loss, he has 7 interceptions in just 5 games so far. His accuracy has not been there. Antonio Brown looks frustrated. Le'Veon Bell has complained as well. I'm not sure. The team isn't together. The national anthem thing wasn't handled that great. I don't like the way this team is right now. They still might win that division. Division's pretty awful.
I was going to say that.
But once they get to the playoffs, I'm not optimistic at all.
Look, I think Big Ben, he's still the type of quarterback. Look, Eli Manning's won Super Bowls. Joe Flacco's won the Super Bowl. Big Ben, he's got that defense in Pittsburgh. They're still one of the top defenses in the league. I don't care what you say. I know they gave up third.
They're really good, yeah.
They allow one of the fewest yards per play. I think that defense can help them win that really garbage division. And it's Big Ben. Again, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He gets hot at the right time. Maybe he could pull off a couple ups. AFC's down. Patriots are down. Who knows? The Chiefs are clearly the best team in the AFC right now. But who else is there in the AFC? Maybe. I don't think Big Ben's done yet. I think they're struggling right now. Yeah, and it's just early in the season. Might as well get it out of the way early. The Steelers shine in the winter months in December when it's cold in Pittsburgh. Their defense, good running attack. I think Roethlisberger's fine. This is just a bad blip in an otherwise fantastic career.
They have the talent there, no question. One of the best offenses when they're clicking. Tomlin, even if you don't think he's a great coach, he still had a lot of success. He motivates his players as well as anyone. Like you said, when the weather in Pittsburgh gets bad late in the year, they take advantage of that. So, I mean, like you said, it's good they're having these problems now. They've got a ton of time to fix it. And two of the touchdowns that they gave up were on the defense. There's Ben Roethlisberger's two pick sixes in the third quarter. So I do like this team going forward, but they have to correct some major issues if they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and huge game this week for the Steelers. We play the Chiefs on the road. That's going to be a big test for Big Ben and the boys. But let's send it back to Courtney and Darren now. They're going to give us some fantasy waiver wire pickups.
Great stuff from Andre and Nick, as always. But now I've got another one of our favorite guys, Darren Hartwell, to talk a little bit about fantasy. This past weekend, we saw some injuries that really throw fantasy owners for a loop. Yep. Odell Beckham Jr. looking like he's out for the season. One of the most gruesome injuries I've ever seen. Something no one likes to see. But we're going to talk about overall. We're going into week 6, so in your eyes, who is a must-own player?
Yeah, I actually have two guys I'm looking at, and they're both running backs. So first up, I think you have to start with Marlon Mack, the Colts. He's a pretty explosive runner. We saw that last week. He came back and he had 91 rushing yards and a touchdown, just 9 carries. He's kind of one of those guys, another one of those rookies who's really stepping up and can make some plays. I think Frank Gore's kind of been there forever, but eventually the tires are going to run out on him. So I think you should pick up Mack. And then the other guy I like is Jerick McKinnon, kind of a late ad. You saw what he did last night against the Bears on Monday Night Football. Had long touchdown run, and a lot of people were picking up Latavius Murray after Dalvin Cook went down. But I think McKinnon, again, another explosive runner. He's a guy who can make some plays. And I think he's going to be the Vikings' lead back going forward.
All right, so those are must-own players. But if we dive a little bit deeper into the league, guys are looking to pick, guys and girls are looking to pick people up in week 6. We're diving deeper into the season. Yes. So let's dive deeper into waiver wire pickups.
Yeah, one guy I like, you talked about Beckham, his backup, Roger Lewis. Kind of sounds like a British musician or something like that. But the Giants basically don't have any wide receivers left. Brandon Marshall also out for this season. So I think you got to look at Lewis. He caught a touchdown pass from Eli Manning last week. Obviously, he's a nobody, but he's gonna have to step up. He could see some more volume. A tough matchup this week against the Broncos, but I think longer term, he's gonna be one of the guys that is in line for some targets.
And Giants fans everywhere are praying that he is going to step up to the plate.
They need him.
They definitely do. All right, great stuff from Darren as always. You can follow along with him on Twitter at Darren_Hartwell. But now we are going to send it to our guy Ricky Doyle for some show and tell.
The name of the game is Show and Tell. This is where I bring in objects each week and use it to give you a few developing thoughts I have on the 2017 NFL season. First up, I got a box of tissues here, and we're going to give this to my good friend, Miami Dolphins offensive line coach Chris Forrester, who's probably going to need these tissues to wipe the booger sugar hanging from his nose after this ridiculous video that surfaced online. I can't even wrap my head around it, because when you're in a position of prominence, there are two things that you cannot do in this world, and that is take incriminating photos or videos of whatever it is you're doing, some nefarious activity. Just stay off social media, just stay off the internet in general, and don't pee in public. Fortunately, he kept his pants on, but what he didn't do was stay away from the internet. And he's got this whole fling going on, allegedly, with some Las Vegas model. I don't know. But the video of him snorting some sort of white powder made its way on the internet. Guy ended up resigning. I think it's just absolutely ridiculous. I hope he gets the help he needs. But more importantly, I hope he finds some common sense along the way. Because I can't even, like I said, wrap my head around that whole debacle that happened with the Dolphins. What a season for the Dolphins, by the way. All types of crap going on down there in South Beach. Second, I got a burger. And this one's probably a little self-explanatory. We're going to talk about Ben Roethlisberger and how I'm about ready to stick a fork in him. I don't know who eats a burger with a fork and a knife, but unless you're a psychopath. But whatever, you get the point. This guy's 35 years old. He's had injuries throughout his career, and he looks like crap this season. I'm not ready to say his career's done just yet, but I didn't like his comments over the offseason talking about retirement. Certainly didn't like his comments last week after being shelled by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So right now, this team needs a leader. He needs to get it together, or else the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to find it really difficult to win that division. This is a division they should be running away with, because there's some other garbage teams. I'm not really high on, obviously, the Browns. I don't like the Bengals. I don't like the Ravens either. So really, they should be running away with things. They're not. So stick a fork in Ben Roethlisberger. Finally, the Jacksonville Jaguars, as I mentioned, kicked the crap out of the Steelers. Everybody's starting to buy into them, but you better pump the brakes because they don't have one key ingredient, and that is a quarterback. They got a great defense, although the run defense is a little suspect. No quarterback play, though. It's an adorable little trick when you can win a game by throwing 14 times for 95 yards, but that's not going to last throughout the season. Blake Bortles isn't going to make plays on account, so I'm not buying into the Jaguars just yet, although there are some problems across that division.
All right, well, that will do it for this week's episode of the Hurry Up. Enjoy Week 6 of the NFL. I hope you all get the wins that you need and deserve. We'll see you next week for Week 7 previews right here on NESN.com. The Hurry Up. Hope to see you next time.